Marcie Merriman, who is the Executive VP of Big Red Rooster, a research strategy and retail design firm in Columbus, Ohio, talks with me, Whitney Herod, the Assistant Editor of VMSD, about what she thinks are the three biggest needs of shoppers today and the surprising retail perspective of triathlons. What's your biggest responsibility when working with a retail client?
As Executive VP of Big Red Rooster, my biggest responsibility with clients is really to continuously earn their trust.
What one rule applies to all retailers?
The one rule that applies to all retailers is ageless. It's understand your target customer. Really define who they are and consistently deliver against their needs. As we go forward and we see store formats becoming smaller, competition increasing, it's going to become more and more important to really define, more narrowly define that target customer and understand specifically how you can maximize your core competencies against their needs and do that better, and that's going to be a better avenue to growth in the future rather than trying to be too much to too many people, which many retailers are still trying to achieve.
What would you identify as shoppers' three biggest needs?
Well, the shopper's three biggest needs kind of falls into that same category as defining, for the retailers, defining your target customer and really knowing them. For the shopper, their three biggest needs is one, to be heard. So the retailer actually reaches out and wants to understand what's going on with them, what their needs are, what the retailer's doing well, what they're not doing well, and able to react. So number one is to be heard, number two is to be understood, and then number three is to consistently execute according to their needs.
What are some of the client challenges that you faced?
The biggest client challenge really is ageless. It's the client that wants to do something different, achieve growth, fix a problem, but they want to do this without making any real changes within the business. And some may call this risk aversion, but the most dangerous thing you can do as a retailer, especially in today's day and age when everything is changing so fast in the consumer and shopper's life, is to stay stagnant. And for me, that's really the most frustrating situation because I want to help my clients, I want to help them succeed. But if they're not willing to look at the business and edit and make real change within it, it's not possible.
The pop-up phenomenon is as strong as ever, especially this summer. What do you think makes pop-up so popular with consumers?
Well, I think the pop-up phenomenon is interesting and it's important because in this ever-changing, multitasking world of today's consumers, anything stagnant is going to die. And pop-ups really provide a fresh, exciting option for consumers that's unexpected. And for the retailers, it allows them to own the story. For the retailers and the brands, it allows them to own the story and bring it to new places, new unexpected places where they can develop a closer tie with their customers. The one that I think is really interesting is the H&M Beach Hut store, pop-up store in the Netherlands. Where this is interesting is it not only achieves the pop-up effect in a very unique way by putting a wooden crate on a beach, it also is tying in with the charity aspect of their target customer, the younger customer, the women who feel a need to give back. We consistently hear through our research and our work the importance of giving back through through the retailers, the brands that they work with.
And talk about your involvement with triathlons.
Well, I became involved in triathlon several years ago, and really what attracts me to it is the relationship with other people doing it. I think it's interesting too, because for me it almost becomes a study in people and what's possible from a brand and retail perspective, because you see all these very, very diverse people that the sport attracts, and you see how they support one another and the excitement around it and the excitement at the events. And I just think that it demonstrates how there's so much more possible for retailers and brands if they can pull people together in this way and really understand what their core needs are. You could extend your population of customers that you're attracting by looking at really what's the core driver of what pulls them into you, and then how do you really create that true dedication and interest by tying into what their needs are, what they want, and delivering that consistently. And I see the excitement at these events and what's possible, and I do think that there's something there that retailers should look at and how they can extend out and tie into communities of people that you would never expect to have a bond to one another.